Episode 6, A Taste of a New Life. Sunday morning arrived with the kind of lazy warmth that made Jade want to stay in bed forever. Unfortunately, her stomach had other ideas. It growled loudly enough that Victor, who'd been tracing idle patterns on her bare shoulder, actually paused mid-motion. "Your internal organs are staging a rebellion," he observed. "My internal organs are hungry. I haven't eaten since yesterday afternoon, and we've been burning a lot of calories." Jade stretched, feeling the pleasant ache in muscles she didn't even know she had. "I need food. Real food. Like an entire pizza. Maybe 2 pizzas." "Your appetite is impressive for someone of your size." "My appetite is normal for someone who's been having athletic sex with a vampire for the past 12 hours. Also, commenting on a woman's eating habits is dangerous territory. I thought you were supposed to be good at courtship." Victor's mouth curved into that rare smile. "My apologies. Your appetite is perfectly proportioned to your magnificent spirit." "Better. Still weird, but better." Jade rolled out of bed and grabbed Victor's discarded t-shirt from the floor, pulling it on. It hung to her mid-thigh, smelling like him, leather and something indefinable that her brain had decided was the scent of safety. "I'm making breakfast, something terrible for me and delicious. Pancakes, maybe, or waffles. Do we have waffle mix?" "I have no knowledge of your waffle mix inventory." "Right. You're not supposed to eat food." "I forgot for a second because you've been acting so human lately." Jade paused in the doorway, looking back at him. He was still in bed, gloriously naked, the morning sunlight streaming across his pale skin. A vampire in daylight. Still a miracle. Still her miracle. "Do you miss it? Eating real food?" Victor considered this. "I had not missed it until yesterday, when your blood allowed me to taste that apple. Now that I know it is possible, yes. I find myself longing for experiences I thought permanently lost to me." "What was your favorite meal before you returned?" "My wife made a stew. Venison, root vegetables, herbs from our garden. Simple fare, but prepared with love. I can still remember the taste, faintly, though 800 years have dulled memory." His expression grew distant. "We would eat together as a family, my wife, my daughter, myself, talking about our days, making plans for the future. Those moments of simple domesticity, I did not appreciate them enough when I had them." Jade felt her heart clench. "I'm sorry that you lost that you've been alone so long." "I am not alone now." Victor's eyes met hers, intense and sincere. "You have given me the taste of that life again. Not the exact same, but something equally precious. Moments of peace, of connection, of belonging." "You're doing it again, saying things that make me cry before I've even had coffee." "I speak only truth." "Yeah, well, your truth is very emotionally devastating. Hold that thought while I make pancakes." Jade headed downstairs, Victor following a few moments later, having pulled on his jeans. She tried very hard not to stare at his bare chest and the way those jeans sat low on his hips. She failed completely. "You were staring," Victor observed, leaning against the kitchen counter. "You were shirtless in my kitchen. I'm allowed to stare." "I was unaware there were rules about shirtlessness." "There are many rules. Rule 1, if you're going to be shirtless and look like that, you have to accept that people will stare. It's just science." "I'm unfamiliar with this branch of science." "It's called human sexuality, and you're a test subject whether you like it or not." Jade pulled out the pancake mix, eggs, and milk, assembling ingredients with practiced efficiency. "Now stop being distracting and tell me more about your life before, the good parts. I want to know what made you happy." Victor was quiet for a moment, watching her measure and mix with that intense focus of his. Hunting, not for blood, but for sport. Riding through forests with my men, tracking deer or boar. The challenge of it, the skill required, the camaraderie with my fellow hunters. "So you were basically a medieval bro, going on hunting trips with the guys, probably drinking too much and telling exaggerated stories about the ones that got away." "I suppose that is accurate, though I dislike the term bro." "Too bad. You're a medieval bro. Embrace it." Jade poured batter onto a hot griddle, watching it bubble and brown. "What else?" "Reading. Books were rare and precious in my time, but I collected them when I could. Poetry, philosophy, histories. I would spend hours in my study, reading by candlelight." "A warrior poet. Of course you are. Is there anything you're not good at?" "Modern technology continues to baffle me, and I have discovered I am quite terrible at understanding your popular music lyrics. Yesterday, I listened to a song about someone named Roxanne. The singer seemed very adamant that she not engaged in prostitution, but the reason was unclear." Jade burst out laughing. "That's The Police. It's a classic. And yeah, the lyrics are pretty straightforward. Guy loves a prostitute, doesn't want her to sell her body anymore. But surely she requires income. His emotional declaration does nothing to solve her economic situation." "Oh my god. You're critiquing the socio-economic implications of 80s pop music. This is the best thing ever." "I am merely pointing out the logical flaws." "Love isn't logical, Victor. That's kind of the whole point of love songs. They're about feelings, not practical solutions to complex problems." Victor moved behind her, his arms coming around her waist, his chin resting on top of her head. "Then I understand perfectly. What I feel for you is entirely illogical, impractical, potentially catastrophic, and yet I cannot seem to stop." Jay leaned back against him, flipping pancakes with one hand. "Good, because same, we can be illogical and impractical together." They ate breakfast at the kitchen table. Well, Jade ate while Victor watched with fascination as she demolished a stack of pancakes with impressive efficiency. "You consume food with great enthusiasm," he observed. "I consume food like someone who hasn't eaten 18 hours and spent most of that time having sex. There's a difference." Jade pointed her fork at him. "You should try one, the pancakes. See if you can taste them like you could taste the apple and the grilled cheese." "I already ate the apple yesterday, and the grilled cheese. I do not wish to waste your food." "It's not wasting if you're eating it. Come on, one bite, please." Victor looked at the pancake like it might attack him. What if it does not work? What if yesterday was a temporary effect? "Let me try again tomorrow." "But Victor, what if it does work? What if you can taste pancakes? Don't you want to know?" He did. She could see the longing in his eyes, the desperate hope warring with fear of disappointment. After 800 years of nothing, of food being ash in his mouth, the possibility of taste was probably overwhelming. "One bite," he agreed finally. Jade cut a piece of pancake, making sure it had plenty of syrup, and held out a fork. Victor accepted it with the solemnity of someone being offered communion. He placed the bite in his mouth carefully, chewed slowly. His eyes widened. "I taste it," he whispered. "Sweetness, butter, the texture of the bread. Jade, I taste it clearly." Joy exploded through her, so intense she felt tears immediately spring to her eyes. "Really? You can really taste it?" "It is not as intense as human taste, I think. More muted. But it is there, present, real." Victor took the fork from her hand and cut another piece himself, eating it with something approaching reverence. "This is extraordinary. How is this possible?" I have no idea. Maybe my blood changed something fundamental about your vampire biology. Maybe the bond between us works both ways. You get some of my human traits, I get whatever mystical benefits come from being connected to you. Victor ate another bite, then another, his expression one of pure wonder. In 800 years, I never imagined I would taste food again. And now, here I sit in your kitchen, eating pancakes made by the woman I love, tasting every element as if I were human again. Not human, just you. A vampire who can walk in sunlight and taste food, and apparently has a thing for redheads who fight with lightsabers. An extremely specific thing for extremely specific redheads. Victor reached across the table and took her hand. You have given me so much, Jade. Freedom, joy. A reason to want to remain in this strange world. How can I ever repay such gifts? You can start by finishing these pancakes so I have an excuse to make more. I like cooking for you. Then I will eat everything you prepare, though I suspect I will need new clothing soon. If I can taste food and presumably digest it, I will likely gain weight for the first time in 8 centuries. Good. You could use a few pounds. You're built like a marble statue. Some softness wouldn't hurt. I'm a warrior. Warriors are not soft. Warriors can have tummies. It's fine. I'll like you regardless. They finished breakfast together, Jade making another batch of pancakes that Victor ate with increasing confidence. Watching him discover food again was like watching a child experience something for the first time. Pure, unfiltered joy that made her chest ache with affection. After breakfast, they migrated to the living room couch, Jade curled against Victor's side, both of them full and content. The television played some mindless Sunday morning show, but neither of them was really watching. Can I ask you something? Jade said after a comfortable silence. Anything. What was her name? Your wife. You've mentioned her, but I don't think you've said her name. Victor's hand, which had been stroking her hair, stilled briefly. Ilona. Her name was Ilona. She was the daughter of a neighboring lord. Our marriage was arranged, as was common, but we grew to love each other genuinely. She was fierce, intelligent. She ran our household with efficiency that would have impressed a general, and she gave me Sonia, the greatest gift of my life, even if I was too foolish to appreciate it properly. What happened to her? She died. Illness. Before I was turned. In my time, death came easily and often. Plague, infection, complications from childbirth. Ilona simply fell ill one winter and never recovered. I was devastated. Sonia was only 12 years old, too young to lose her mother. Jade tightened her arms around him. I'm sorry. That must have been horrible. It was. But it was also life as we understood it then. Death was not the tragedy it is now. It was expected. Common. We mourned, but we moved forward because we had no choice. Victor's voice grew softer. I sometimes wonder what Ilona would think of me now, of what I became, of the choices I made. She'd probably think you were doing your best with an impossible situation. Or she would think I was a monster who murdered our daughter for the crime of loving someone I deemed unsuitable. Jade sat up to face him properly. Victor, you have to stop punishing yourself for that. Yes, you made a terrible choice, but you've had 800 years to regret it. At some point, you have to forgive yourself. Sonia would want you to forgive yourself. Sonia would want you to forgive yourself. You do not know what she would want. I know she was your daughter, and she loved you. And people who love us don't want us to suffer forever over our mistakes. They want us to learn and grow and become better. You've had 8 centuries to become better. Maybe it's time to accept that you have. Victor looked at her with such raw emotion that Jade felt her breath catch. You have more faith in me than I have in myself. Then borrow my faith until you develop your own. That's what people do when they love each other. They believe in each other when believing in yourself is too hard. How did you become so wise? I'm not wise. I just watch a lot of therapy TikToks. Jade settled back against his chest. But seriously, Victor, you're not the same person who made that choice. You've changed. That has to count for something. Perhaps. Victor was quiet for a moment, then said, May I ask you something equally personal? Fair is fair. Yesterday, in your passion, you said you wanted to be with me forever. Did you mean it? Or was it merely the intensity of the moment speaking? Jade's heart started pounding. They were entering dangerous territory now. Territory she'd been avoiding thinking about too carefully because it led to impossible questions and complicated answers. I meant it, she said quietly. I know it's crazy. I know we've only known each other a few days, but yeah, I want forever with you, however that looks. You understand what forever means? For me, forever is literal. I do not age, I do not die unless killed. I have existed for 800 years and will likely exist for 800 more. You are human, you will age, you will die. Our forevers are very different lengths. I know. Then you understand that if we continue this relationship, I will watch you grow old. I will watch you weaken and fade and eventually die. And I will remain exactly as I am, unchanged. That is the curse of loving a vampire, Jade. We are eternal, and everyone we love is temporary. Jade took a deep breath. She'd known this conversation was coming, had been dreading it and anticipating it in equal measure. Time to be brave. Time to say the things she'd been thinking since she realized she loved him. Then change me. Victor's entire body went rigid. What? Change me. Turn me into a vampire. Make me like you so we can have forever together for real. Jade, no. Absolutely not. Why not? You love me. I love you. We want to be together. This solves the problem. It creates far more problems than it solves. Victor sat up, dislodging her gently, his expression shifting to something between horror and fear. You have no concept of what you're asking. I'm asking to be with the man I love for as long as possible. That seems pretty straightforward. It is not straightforward, it is catastrophic. Victor stood, pacing the living room with agitated energy. Jade, becoming a vampire is not simply gaining immortality. It is surrendering your humanity, your warmth, your heartbeat, your ability to walk easily in the sun. Yes, I can do it now because of you. But for 800 years, I was trapped in darkness. You would be trading everything that makes you human for an existence of blood and shadow. But I'd have you. That's worth it. Is it? Is it truly? Victor turned to face her, his expression intense. What about children? Vampires cannot procreate. You would be giving up any chance of being mother. What about growing old with friends, watching your family? Every human experience you take for granted would be lost. And for what? To be bound to a monster who has killed thousands? You're not a monster. I am. That is what I have been trying to make you understand. I am dangerous, violent, deadly. I have done terrible things in the name of survival and power. And if you become like me, you'll have to do those things too. You'll have to kill to feed. You'll have to watch everyone you love die while you remain unchanged. You will become a creature of darkness, just like me. Jade felt tears streaming down her face, but she didn't back down. I don't care. I want to be with you. I want forever with you. Why can't you understand that? Because I love you too much to damn you. Victor's voice cracked. Because turning you would be the most selfish thing I could possibly do. Because I have already destroyed one person I loved through my selfishness, and I will not. I cannot do it again. The pain in his voice broke something in Jade. She crossed to him, taking his face in her hands, forcing him to look at her. I'm not Sonia. I'm not your daughter. I'm a grown woman making an informed choice about what I want for my future. And what I want is you. All of you. Forever. You do not know what you are asking. Then tell me. Explain it to me. Help me understand why the idea of spending eternity with me is so terrible that you'd rather watch me die. Victor's hands came up to cover hers, his cool fingers trembling slightly. It is not terrible. It is the most tempting thing anyone has ever offered me. The chance to keep you, to never lose you, to have centuries together instead of mere decades. I want it so desperately, it terrifies me. But Jade, the cost. I know the cost. I'm willing to pay it. You think you are, but you do not truly understand. The hunger, Jade. The constant gnawing hunger for blood. It never stops. It never fades. You learn to control it, but it is always there, driving you, consuming you. You have to kill to survive. Not often, perhaps, if you learn control. But sometimes, inevitably. Could you do that? Could you take a human life to feed your own existence? Jade hesitated. She wanted to say yes immediately, to insist she could do whatever was necessary. That Victor deserved honesty, and the honest answer was that she didn't know. She'd never killed anything larger than a spider. The idea of killing a human being, even to survive, was horrifying. I don't know, she admitted. Maybe, if I had to. If you taught me how to control it, how to minimize the harm. People kill animals for food all the time. Is drinking blood really that different? It is when the animal is sentient and begging for its life. Do you kill every time you feed? Victor was quiet for a moment. No. I've learned control over centuries. I can feed without killing, taking only what I need and leaving the human alive if dazed and weakened, but it requires immense discipline. And even then, mistakes happen. When the hunger is too strong, when control slips, people die. Have you killed recently, since coming here? No. Your blood sustains me in ways I do not fully understand. I have not felt true hunger since the first drop touched my tongue, but that may not last forever. And if I turned you, you would not have that advantage. You would experience the full force of vampiric hunger with none of my centuries of practice controlling it. Jade absorbed this, the reality of what she was asking beginning to crystallize, so I'd be a danger to myself and others. But first, yes, until you learn control. That is why new vampires are dangerous. They're consumed by hunger, by the overwhelming need to feed, and they lack the discipline to restrain themselves. Many young vampires go mad in their first years. Some never recover. But some do. You did. I had mentors. Other vampires who taught me control. You would have only me and I. Victor's voice broke again. I do not know if I'm strong enough to guide you through that transformation. If I would have the strength to restrain you when the hunger takes you, to watch you suffer through the transition, knowing I inflicted it upon you. You wouldn't be inflicting it. I'd be choosing it. Choice made in love is not always free choice. You love me, so you believe you want this. But if I change you, and we come to regret it, come to hate what you have become, I could not bear that, Jade. I could not bear turning your love to hatred. They stood together in her living room, both crying now, the weight of impossible choices pressing down on them. So what do we do? Jade asked finally. Just accept that I'm going to die, and you're going to be alone again? That's the alternative you're choosing? I am choosing to love you as you are for as long as I have you, to treasure every moment, every day, every year we are given. And when the time comes, when you grow old and I do not, we will face that together. Perhaps by then, medical science will have advanced enough to extend human life considerably. Or perhaps we will find another solution. But I will not steal your humanity simply because I'm afraid of losing you. That's noble and stupid, and I hate it. I know, but it is the only choice I can live with. Victor pulled her close, holding her like she might disappear. I am sorry. I am so sorry. I cannot give you what you want. You're giving me what you think I need. That's different. Perhaps, but the result is the same. Pain for both of us. They held each other for a long time, crying together, mourning the future they couldn't have even as they clung to the present they did. Eventually, the tears subsided, leaving them both exhausted and empty. I need to change the subject before I lose it completely, Jade said, her voice hoarse. Can we talk about literally anything else? Yes, please. Anything else would be welcome. Jade pulled back, wiping her face. Okay, new topic. Food. You can taste food now. We should make a list of everything you want to try. A culinary bucket list. Victor looked grateful for the subject change. A bucket list? A list of things you want to experience before you die. Except you're immortal, so it's more like a list of things you want to experience because you can now. Foods you've never tried, flavors you want to taste. That seems manageable. Less emotionally devastating than our previous topic. Exactly. So, what do you want to try? And don't say venison stew, because we're not butchering deer in my kitchen. Victor actually smiled slightly. Pizza. You spoke of it with such enthusiasm yesterday. I would like to understand why. Pizza. Religious experience. You're gonna love it. What else? Ice cream. I have seen it referenced in multiple films. It appears to be frozen sweet cream in various flavors. Ice cream's amazing, and you're gonna lose your mind when you try it. Keep going. They spent the next hour making a list, Victor suggesting foods he heard about, Jade adding her own favorites. By the time they finished, they had an ambitious catalog of culinary experiences, ranging from simple to complex. Pizza, ice cream, Chinese food, Mexican food, sushi, barbecue, French pastries, Thai curry, Italian pasta, chocolate in all its forms. This is going to take months to work through, Jade said, looking at the list. Then we have months of experiences to share. I find that prospect comforting. Me too. Jade looked at him seriously. Victor, I'm not giving up on the forever thing. I'm going to keep asking, keep pushing. But for now, for today, can we just focus on this, on food and joy and the time we have? Yes, we can do that. Victor took a hand. Though I must warn you, my resolve may weaken over time. The temptation to keep you with me eternally is extraordinarily strong. I am not certain how long I can resist it. Then don't resist it. When you're ready, when you're not afraid anymore, we'll revisit this conversation. But until then, pancakes and pizza and whatever else we can fit into however long we have. You are extraordinary. Do you know that? Most people would be angry at my refusal. You are giving me grace I do not deserve. You deserve all the grace. You've had 800 years of people treating you like a monster. Maybe it's time someone treated you like a man who's trying his best. Victor pulled her into a kiss, soft and grateful and tinged with the salt of their earlier tears. When they broke apart, he rested his forehead against hers. What shall we eat today from our extensive list? Jade grinned. Lunch is pizza. Definitely pizza. I'll order from Mario's. They have the best pizza in Frederick. And for dinner, I'll make spaghetti carbonara. It's simple but delicious. You're gonna love it. I defy your expertise in all culinary matters. Smart man, vampire, whatever. They spent the rest of the morning in comfortable domesticity. Jade showed Victor how to order food online, a process that fascinated him endlessly, and they watched cooking shows on television while waiting for the pizza to arrive. Victor provided commentary on the various techniques, comparing them to food preparation in his time. That seems unnecessarily complicated, he said, watching someone make a multi-layered dessert. In my time, we simply combined ingredients and hoped for the best. That's because you didn't have refined sugar, precise measurements, or reliable ovens. Modern cooking is chemistry. Chemistry, I understand. I studied alchemy extensively in my youth. Same principle, different application. Instead of turning lead into gold, we're turning flour and eggs into cake. A far more practical endeavor. When the pizza arrived, Jade opened the box with ceremonial flair. Behold, the pinnacle of human culinary achievement. Pepperoni pizza with extra cheese. Victor examined the pizza with the same intensity he brought to everything. The cheese is melted, the meat is distributed evenly, the bread base appears structurally sound. You're analyzing pizza like it's a battle strategy. I analyze everything like it is a battle strategy. It is how I have survived 800 years. Just eat it, trust me. Victor selected a slice carefully, took a bite, and his eyes widened. He chewed slowly, savoring, and Jade watched his face cycle through surprise, delight, and something approaching ecstasy. This is remarkable, he said after swallowing. The combination of flavors, the texture, the temperature, how is this even possible? Italians figured it out like a century ago, and Americans perfected it. We're really good at taking other cultures' foods and adding cheese to them. Victor took another bite, then another, beating with the enthusiasm of someone experiencing joy for the first time. Watching him discover pizza was possibly the cutest thing Jade had ever witnessed. I understand now why you spoke of this with such reverence, he said, finishing his first slice and immediately reaching for a second. This is extraordinary. Right? Pizza is life, pizza is love, pizza is everything good in the world. They ate together, Victor trying different slices to compare flavors, Jade explaining the finer points of pizza culture. By the time they finished, Victor had consumed 4 slices, a respectable showing for someone who hadn't eaten solid food in 8 centuries. I feel strange, he said, putting a hand to his stomach. Full. Heavy. Is this normal? That's called being full. Your body's not used to digesting food anymore. You might feel a little real for a while until your system adjusts. Weird is an understatement. I feel as though I have consumed stones. That's just the cheese. Gary is heavy. You'll get used to it. Victor groaned and lay back on the couch. I may have overindulged. Welcome to humanity. We overindulge all the time. It's kind of our thing. Jade curled up next to him, resting her head on his chest. Worth it though, right? Highly worth it. Though I may need to remain horizontal for the foreseeable future. They spent the afternoon like that, lazy and food drunk, watching television and talking about nothing important. Jade explained the plot of various shows, Victor asked questions about modern culture, and slowly the early attention faded, replaced by comfortable companionship. As evening approached, Jade reluctantly extracted herself from the couch. I need to make dinner. Carbonara waits for no man. I'm still quite full from lunch. You'll be hungry again by the time I finish cooking, trust me. In the kitchen, Jade assembled ingredients, while Victor watched from a bar stool at the counter. She explained each step as she went, enjoying the role of teacher. Carbonara is simple. Pasta, eggs, cheese, bacon. The key is timing. You toss the hot pasta with the egg mixture, and it cooks the eggs just enough without scrambling them. And if you miscalculate, then you have scrambled eggs with pasta, which is still edible, but not carbonara. It's all about technique. Victor watched her cook with rapt attention, asking questions about measurements and temperatures and timing. When she finally plated the pasta and he sat down to eat, he took his first bite with appropriate reverence. The texture is smooth, creamy, the cheese is salty, the bacon adds substance. He took another bite, chewing thoughtfully. This is wonderful, Jade. You are quite skilled. I'm okay. I've been cooking for myself since my parents divorced. You learn or you starve. You are better than okay. This is restaurant quality. You've never been to a modern restaurant, so your frame of reference is suspect. But thank you. They ate in comfortable silence for a while before Victor said, I've been thinking about our earlier conversations, about forever. Jade's fork paused halfway to her mouth. Okay. I want you to understand something. My refusal to turn you is not because I do not want forever with you. I want it desperately, but I want you to have a choice, a real choice, made with full understanding of what you would be giving up. Not a choice made in the heat of new love, but one made with careful consideration. I've been considering it pretty carefully. You have been considering it for a few days. I ask that you consider it for longer. Months, years perhaps. If you still want this after time has passed, after you have truly understood what life with me would be like, then we can revisit this conversation. Jade set down her fork. How much time? I do not know. Enough time that you are certain. That is all I ask. And if I'm certain now, then waiting will not change your mind, and if it does change your mind, then I will have saved you from a choice you would have regretted. It was logical. Frustrating, but logical. Jade wanted to argue, to push back, but she could see the fear in Victor's eyes, the desperate need to protect her, even from himself. Fine, she said finally. I'll wait. I'll think about it more. But Victor, you need to promise me something. What? Promise me you'll think about it too. Really think about it. Not just the risks and the downsides, but the possibilities. What we could have. What we could be together. Because right now, you're only seeing negative, and that's not fair to either of us. Victor nodded slowly. I will try. That is all I can promise. Then that's enough, for now. They finished dinner with lighter conversations, deliberately steering away from heavy topics. Jade told stories about her college classes, Melissa's romantic drama, her mom's hospital adventures. Victor listened attentively, asking questions, laughing at the right moments, being present in a way that made Jade's heart ache with affection. After dinner, they cleaned up together, falling into an easy rhythm. Victor washed while Jade dried, their movements synchronized like they'd been doing this for years instead of days. I could get used to this, Jade said, putting away the last plate. Domesticity? Partnership. Having someone to share the boring daily stuff with. Cooking, cleaning, watching TV. It's nice. Really nice. I agree. In my time, such tasks were handled by servants. I did not understand the intimacy of sharing them with someone you love. Now I find myself preferring this to any grand feast or formal entertainment. Because grand feasts don't involve sweatpants and bad reality TV. Precisely. They migrated back to the couch, Jade pulling up her sweet feeling playlist again. Music had become their language, their way of connecting beyond words. She added new songs over the past few days, curating a collection that felt like them. Romantic, varied, full of hope and joy, and occasional melancholy. I added something for you, she said, scrolling to a specific song. Listen to this. She played Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers, one of the most romantic songs ever written. Victor listened in silence, his arm around her shoulders, and when it ended, he was quiet for a long moment. That song is about longing, he said finally, about love separated by time and distance. It feels appropriate for us. Yeah, I thought so too, except we're not separated. We're here, together, and we get to keep being together for as long as we want. For as long as you live. Then I'll live a really long time. Out of spite, if nothing else. Victor laughed, a real laugh that transformed his face. You are ridiculous. Undetermined, there's a difference. They listened to more music. Jade curled against Victor's side, his cool body a pleasant contrast to the warmth of the room. She felt drowsy, content, full of good food and better company. Thank you, Victor said quietly. For what? For today. For giving me experiences I thought lost forever. For your patience with my fears. For loving me despite all the reasons you should not. I don't love you despite anything. I love you because of everything. The whole complicated package. Ancient warlord, reformed killer, pancake enthusiast, terrible at modern technology, but excellent at sword fighting. All of it. I'm terrible at modern technology. The worst. You set my laptop language to Dutch yesterday. I don't even know how you manage that. The buttons are poorly labeled. The buttons are clearly labeled, you just don't read them before clicking. A minor oversight. Jade sat up to look at him. Victor, I need you to understand something. This, us, it's not just about the big dramatic stuff, the blood bond and the vampire powers and the existential questions. It's also about this. Eating pizza, listening to music, arguing about whether you're bad at technology, the boring, normal, everyday things. That's what I want forever of. Not just the epic romance, but the simple partnership, the day-to-day life together. Victor's hand came up to her face, cupping her cheek. I want that too, more than I have ever wanted anything, and it terrifies me because I have never allowed myself to want such things, to hope for a life beyond war and blood and survival. You make me want things I thought impossible. Then let yourself want them. Let yourself hope. Let yourself imagine a future that's about more than just duty and obligation. You deserve that, Victor. After 800 years, you deserve to be happy. I am happy. Right now, in this moment, with you. I am happier than I have been in centuries. Good. Then let's have more moments like this, as many as we possibly can, and we'll figure out the forever thing when we get there. When we get there, Victor agreed. They settled back into comfortable silence, music playing softly, the evening stretching ahead of them with no demands or expectations, just two people who loved each other, sharing space and time, and the simple pleasure of being together. Jade felt Victor relax against her, some of the constant tension he carried finally easing. She wondered if he'd spent centuries unable to fully relax, always on guard, always preparing for the next threat. The idea made her sad, made her want to show him that life could be different, that peace was possible, that he could lay down his weapons and just be. I love you, she said quietly. I love you as well, Victor replied without hesitation. More than words can adequately express. You have given me everything, Jade. The sun, taste, joy, hope. But most of all, you have given me a reason to want to continue existing, and for that, I am eternally grateful. You're doing it again, saying things that make me cry. I cannot seem to help myself. You inspire eloquence. You're just naturally eloquent. I bet you were giving flowery speeches back in the 13th century too. I was known for my diplomatic skills. Of course you were. Is there anything you're not good at besides modern technology? Apparently, I'm quite terrible at protecting my heart from young women with red hair and dangerous smiles. Not protecting it, sharing it. There's a difference. Perhaps you were right. Jade felt her eyes growing heavy, the combination of food, emotion, and comfort lulling her towards sleep. I'm gonna fall asleep on you if we stay like this. Then sleep, I will keep watch. You don't have to keep watch. We're safe here. Old habits are difficult to break. Allow me this small comfort. Fine. But you have to wake me up if anything interesting happens. I promise to alert you to any interesting developments. Jade let herself drift, safe in Victor's arms, their bond hanging gently between them. Tomorrow, they would face whatever came next, her mom returning, real life resuming, all the complications of their impossible relationship. But tonight, they had this, peaceful contentment, music, and each other. It was enough. More than enough. It was everything. And as Jade slipped into sleep, she felt Victor press a kiss to the top of her head, a gesture so tender it made her heart swell even in semi-consciousness. Sleep well, little flame, he murmured. I will be here when you wake. And she knew with absolute certainty that he would be. For today, for tomorrow, for as long as she lived. He would be there, loving her, protecting her, sharing pizza and pancakes in every small moment that made life worth living. It wasn't forever, not yet, but it was real and present and theirs. And for now, that was more than enough. End of episode 6.